Well, hello, hello, hello. It's Monday night at 6 o'clock here in Texas, and I am the Stampmaven, and we are live. Tonight, it is all about the basic borders dies. Before we dive into that, I just wanted to say hello to everybody. Um, Wherever you're living, as I mentioned earlier, I'm here in North Texas, Wiley to be exact, which is probably half an hour or so from Dallas. Before I get into the border dies, I wanted to show you something. If you were with me a couple weeks ago, I did some projects using our blending brushes. Well, this one is a brand new brush, and this one is one that I used. Well, I didn't go in and wash it off right away, but I wanted to show you that they clean up very nicely. I think I mentioned in there that I tend to use like one brush for all my blues, one for my greens, one for my pinks. But this is not going to come off. So even if I were to use it in a different color, it would not be a problem. Let me just take a quick minute to say hello to everybody. Hello, Linda. Hey, Maria. I'm glad you guys could pop in to find out more about the border dies. Now, this is the border dies. There are 6 of them in the set. Now, I must admit, border dies are not my usual go-to dies. I just don't go to them first when a new catalog comes out. How about you? Well, this year, when the annual catalog was released, I decided to dive in and see if I might change my mind about some of the products that were available that usually aren't my go-to things, like these border dies. Well, these dies have kind of become one of my hidden jewels, kind of like the chalk pastels I showed you a few weeks ago. So there are 6 dies in the set, and one of the things that I really like about these dies is that all of them, except for this one right here, cut along the center line, and then they have a stitching or a dotted detail on each side. So this is the one right here that I'm going to show you just a cutout. So right along the center here is the cut. Then there are dots on this side and little dashes on the other. So here I cut it out using a piece of our mossy meadow. So there is the cut line. And if you were to use this piece, you would have like the little stitching look. And if you were to use this one, you would have the little dots. So these are very versatile dies, which is one thing that I really like. Well, I'm going to show you 3 ways to use these dies today. And then I'm going to do another live, probably on Instagram, sometime this week to show you a little, a few more ways. Now, of course, as all my lives, I'll record this and then I'll post it on YouTube. Okay, so let me move these off here. So here are cards that are going to show you the first way that you can use them. So in this card, I used this die right here that kind of looks like almost like a large arrow. And I used some of our Beauty of the Earth Designer Series paper. These are going to be kind of simple cards. Of course, you can glitz them up, embellish them, but right here is where I use the die on my Mary Merlot paper, and then I came in again with another piece out of the DSP and matched it. This little sentiment piece right here was a leftover piece I had from the June paper pumpkin kit. Now what's really cool is you end up, when you're cutting this, you end up with a piece like this. Or if you had a larger piece to start with, you'd have a larger piece here that you could use on another card. You also get these cool little triangles that come out, and look here, you could layer these little pieces and use them on another card, like in a corner. Let's say you were using this, you could put this down here in this corner, maybe put another one up here, and have a really cool look. Now, on this one, I used this die right here, and I used our fresh freesia paper, and then I actually used a little strip from the reverse side of this to kind of add a little interest on this card. And I just used a punch, a real simple greeting, and then some embellishments here. So this is the first way to use those dies. Now, let me show you the second way. On this card right here, it's kind of a monochromatic look, not 100%, because even though the paper is balmy blue, I used Night of Navy for my sentiment. However, when I did this piece, it is in balmy blue also. So what I did, I used this sort of half circle, and I took a piece of my cardstock and I cut it here, and then I put it back in. So I got a piece that's similar to this. Now, this piece right here, if I had used that, it would have gone all the way to the edges here. But I actually wanted to make it a little smaller so I could pop it up and there'd be a little border. So after I cut it out, I took this Evergreen Forest 3D embossing folder. It's got all of these trees on there. And then I went, hopefully you can see this here, and I embossed this piece. Then I put just some pearls on here to kind of get the effect of snow. I took a new die that's going to be in the new holiday mini catalog that goes live tomorrow, and also this sentiment, which I thought just turned out so beautiful. Now, I did the same kind of thing here, only I used, when I cut out this piece, let me kind of put it together here so you can see how it started. When I cut this piece, these little pieces were left over. So I just cut another piece of designer series paper, glued these on with my handy dandy multi-glue, and then, do you recognize this? This is one of our hand-penned Memories and More cards that I put on the front, so I didn't even have to do any stamping. And then I mounted it all on a 8.5 by 11 piece of our pale papaya. Actually, it's 4.25 by 11, and then I scored it at 5.5, so it would open that way. And this is actually a sticker that comes in that Memories and More pack, and it's only $10. So I thought this turned out to be just a great card. And then I'll use this piece for something else. All right, so now let me show you the third way that I'm going to use these. So here is my next card, and I used this die right here, which looks to me like clouds. So I made some clouds. This is the Balmy Blue cardstock, and then I cut out 3 different layers of the clouds. Started with the layer up here and then just put the next layers kind of on top here. Can you see how I did that? Put on some little raindrop embellishments, put on a greeting, and I really liked this one, the miles apart but still in my heart. Miles apart sort of says to me travel. So traveling on an airplane in the clouds. So that's kind of how I got that one. But let me show you, there is one more thing that you can do with this die when you cut it out like this. Okay, you got your pieces to make your card, but then you have this little piece left. Well, look at here, guys. I took my Balmy Blue ink pad, took a sponge, and then I just put down this template and started making clouds. Isn't that cool? Now, what I would normally do would be put them up higher, and then I'd have mountains or grass or a scene down here. But I wanted to show you how you can just move this all over and you can make darker clouds, or you can just kind of make light clouds. You can go back in and keep adding more ink on top or make them light. You could add another color in here and maybe even make them more like thunderclouds. So I hope that you might consider these border dies, because you really you can do a lot of cool things with them. Now, I don't know how many of you saw my post over the weekend, but I am going to do a free Christmas card event coming up on Monday, August 30th during our live time. I am going to show you how to make 14 cards. You're going to need, well, let me show them all to you first. You can watch, just kick back, get a beverage, just watch me do it, or you can actually have some supplies and make some of them along with me. Either way, I just love this technique because it uses a template, and I am going to provide you with a copy of that template. I'm going to give you all the instructions, tell you exactly what you're going to need. I actually did a post about it, but we'll talk about it several times before we get to the 30th, but I think you will be amazed how easily these cards come together. I'm going to be using some new designer series paper that is in the holiday mini catalog, and I actually got this paper on the Stampin' Up incentive trip. But this is going to be such a cool class, and it's free during our Monday night live time on the 30th. It'll probably last a little bit longer. Now, one more thing before I let you go. The mini catalog is going to go live tomorrow along with our celebration catalog. Now, if you're new to Stampin' Up, this little celebration book is just filled with all sorts of Stampin' goodness that you get free when you place a $50 or $100 order, or if you want multiple things in this book, you can place $150, $200 order and get more free. Now, if you don't already have a Stampin' Up demonstrator, and if you don't have one or both of these catalogs, I'd love for you to leave me a comment with your email so I can get in touch and let you know how to get these. Now, one more quick thing. If you have a wish list which is greater than $99, you might just want to tap the brakes on that list and consider getting our starter kit. You get to choose $125 in products, and you'll get to choose a free bundle. There's several choices, and you don't pay any shipping. So if that might pique your interest, drop me an email or a private message here, and I can give you all the details. So, oh, the magnetic sheet. Sorry, Maria, I did not see your email. Yes, these are magnetic sheets that I get from Stampin' Storage. That's how I store my dies. And actually, if you go to my Stampmaven.com site, there's actually a link on there where you can go to Stampin' Storage and check that out. So I thank you all so much for stopping in, and I will check the comments here after I get this recording posted, and of course I will answer any question that you might leave me. So until we meet again, thanks so much and happy stampin'!